Hello, my name is Pastor Darian Sloan, and as you can most likely tell, I pastor Cornerstone Church. We're located here in Covington, Virginia, and today we will be discussing how to effectively evangelize your community. I know personally I've had multiple people ask me about evangelism. Hey, how do we do this? How do we improve this? What should we be doing that we're not doing? How do we do it better? What is the heart of evangelism? And those are things that we're going to go over in this video. I do want to share with you a mind-blowing statistic that I found in my research for this video that burdened me. It burdened me. And I honestly pray that it burdens you as well. The statistic was that only 10% of churches are growing through conversions each year. And that research was conducted by Rick Richardson. That burdens me. And I pray that this helps you see why that your evangelism is so important. Evangelism is how we grow as a church, as a people, how we see the gospel spread. And this is not a video to say, man, we're not doing our job and we're not living out our call, but this is a video simply to help us understand the gravity of the situation, understand the importance of evangelism, and to also give some methods of how we can evangelize our community in an even greater way. I have sat and consulted with pastors who say, I have knocked every door in this community. I've been everywhere. I've knocked this door, I've knocked that door. You cannot find me one door that I have not knocked and invited to church. And I fully believe that, and I do not dispute that at all, but there are methods to evangelism that help us to get a foot in the door with people, to help us to do that. So we will go over that. First, I do want to share just a snippet from what we know is the Great Commission in Matthew 28, verse 19. Jesus, speaking to his disciples, he tells them to go and make disciples of all nations. Why is that important? That is important because we are commanded to go. Even before the disciple making, because it says go and make disciples, we are first supposed to go to people. The first step in evangelism is simply being ready to go. I want to get in. I have 4 sections of this video. The first one is the heart of evangelism. This is the most important. We must understand the heart of why we do what we do. I can remember as a child growing up, and I would ask my parents, why? Everything they told me to do, I ask, why? And there were times it would get aggravating to them, just like it would with me if my kids asked me why with everything. But a lot of us, we need to understand the why if we're going to be effective in fulfilling the action. So Luke 19:10 says, the Son of Man came to seek and save that which was lost. Jesus' purpose on earth, when he allowed himself to come to earth as a man, was to seek and to save that which was lost. Now we know with his body, with his death, with his resurrection, he provided salvation for all of us through his blood. But we also understand that Jesus did not stay seated in one place during his ministry. Jesus went from town to town and he ministered to people, and he broke bread with people. He was with people, and he witnessed to people about himself. I can only imagine how difficult that would be, because you're going and trying to convince people that you are the Messiah, and this was pre-resurrection. Now they seen the signs and the wonders and the miracles that he did, but many still did not believe. And so the heart of evangelism, in my opinion, when we read Scripture, the heart of evangelism is simply the heart of Jesus. Jesus had a heart towards others. Jesus had a heart that said, I have come for one purpose, and it is so that I can see the lost saved, the lost come to salvation through my blood, through my sacrifice. And so the heart of evangelism, to me, is the heart of Jesus. when we allow ourselves to posture our hearts with the posture of Jesus' heart, align ourselves with his posture, then we begin to love others and we begin to ache and have burdens for others. So if we're asking what is the heart of evangelism, the heart of evangelism is having the heart and the mind and the eyes of Jesus. Because Jesus did not want to see people perish. Jesus did not forget about people. The benefits of evangelism, which is going to be next. 1 Peter 3:15 says the believer must be ready to give a reason for their faith. This is one of the benefits of evangelism, is that you get to defend your faith. What are you talking about, Pastor? Most of what I have talked about thus far is reaching others, and that is a great benefit. Seeing lost souls saved through relationship with Jesus Christ. That is the greatest benefit. But there are also benefits for you personally to evangelizing. Why? You get to defend your faith. You get to grow to a point where you can have conversations with people. Now, I will warn you, hitting the streets and evangelism is for for someone who is ready to defend their faith, because you are going to be asked difficult questions about your faith. Why do you believe that? And I have met many people in church contexts who cannot defend why they believe what they believe. But one benefit of evangelism is you must be ready to answer the hard questions. 1 Peter 3:15 tells us we must be ready to give this reason for our faith. Be ready to give a reason for your faith. Study. And you will grow through evangelizing to others because you'll be forced to. Maybe you don't want to be grown. You don't want to grow because you're forced to grow. But it is a good challenge for us as believers to understand why we have the faith that we have. And we also want to see lost souls saved. That should be our goal. It goes back to Luke 19:10, like we talked about in the last section. The benefit is seeing lost souls saved, seeing churches grow, and seeing ourselves grow as well. The cost of evangelism, according to some research by Church Track, 10 to 15% of your church's annual budget should be budgeted toward evangelism. Why? The church needs to reach. The church needs to be active in the community. I remember telling our congregation when we got here, we do not need to be a church that is known by the community. We need to be a church that is felt by the community. That costs money. And I'm not trying to say you're going to have $1 million budget to do this. No. But even if it's something as simple as providing hot dogs for those who are hungry, there is a cost associated with those hot dogs, as we understand. Also, it costs you your pride to be able to sit down and put someone else's needs in front of your own, to work for them. It costs your pride. Your pride will be destroyed for the sake of Christ and evangelism if you decide to proceed with evangelism and seek to do it effectively. So it's going to cost you your pride, and it's going to cost a little bit of money, but it is so worth it. Even if just one person gives their life to Jesus, it's all worth it. I also wanted to touch on methods of evangelism. I will tell you this. People who come to me and say, hey, you need to do this, that I do not know, why would I do that? If people that I don't know, that I don't feel like care about me, are trying to give me life advice, why would I listen to them? We need to establish relationships with people first. The number one reason so many people can say, I've knocked on every door in this town and nobody's came to church, is because they don't have a relationship with you yet. And that's not necessarily like, man, they don't like you. It's just they don't know you. Let people get to know you. Let people feel and understand that you care, that you love them, that regardless, even outside of church-related things, you care for them and you love them and you're here for them. A lot of times you can do that by meeting their needs. Relationship can be formed in meeting needs. I don't know about you, but my best friend can talk to me and can get me to consider things a lot quicker than somebody I've never met, because of the fact I know my best friend cares about me. I know my best friend has been there for me. And somebody that I've never met, I don't know anything about them. So it's not that I don't like them, but I have no perception of who they are. I have no thoughts of this person cares about me. It's simply that I just met this person. Be intentional with relationships. Do not think that it's just a knock on door and come to church. Be intentional. Form relationships with people and show them that you care about them. Allow them to form a relationship and a bond with you, and then you can begin to minister and speak into their life. Serve them and love them, and then minister to them.